Warning, warning. Proceed at your own risk. We are now entering the underground. The algorithm has no power here. Your eyes and ears are vulnerable. Prolonged exposure may cause psychological damage. If you experience symptoms, return to the surface at once. Welcome to the Brink Film Club.
All right, welcome to the Brink Film Club. I am your host, David Pike, and alongside me is...
Miss Baltimore Bombshell back again. Hello, everybody.
So today we're welcoming Margie Schnibbe. She has directed plenty of films, editor, art department on movies, writer. Welcome to the show.
Hi there, David and Miss Baltimore Bombshell. Did I get that correct?
Yes, you did.
Perfect.
Great. So okay, well, let's go right into it. So you directed a movie years ago that Brink is distributing called Pornstar Pets.
The life of a San Fernando porn puppy. It's quite the life.
Hi, I'm Evan Stone, and we're in North Hollywood right now. As you can see, it's a beautiful day, and we're shooting porno. Right at this moment, I'm headed down to the vehicle to get my dog, the wonder dog, Sadie Stone, to be in not her first porno movie, but her 6th feature presentation.
What got you into making that movie? And really, what got you into filmmaking in general? What was your idea getting into filmmaking?
Well, as an artist, I did my undergrad in sculpture because I was doing ceramics, and then I did performance and all these things. And then I was in New York working as a dominatrix, and I was sort of sick of that and said, okay, I'll go get my MFA. And I had a friend, Naomi Human, who's a filmmaker, who was at Cal Arts, and she said, come to the film school. So I was making some, experimental videos in New York of like clients I was seeing and of my dog. And I sent that off to Cal Arts, and they accepted me in the film school. So I was deciding whether I should go to the experimental film school or to the animation department or the art school. And I chose the experimental film school, which was great because they let me in.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and then Cal Arts is, it's outside of LA. It's north of LA. It's not far from the San Fernando Valley. So a lot of us after Cal Arts went to work in the porn industry because we had friends there and we could get jobs. So there's that sort of tie-in. So I was working for a place called VCA Pictures, which is in the Valley, and I had friends working there. And I also was writing a website about adult film for the web portal about.com, and then writing the code and doing all of that. So I sort of just kind of fell into that porn thing.
What made you want to do Pornstar Pets? Was it just like an idea that you had, or you're like, hey, let's see what porn stars and their pets and what they're doing? I mean, what was the idea behind that?
Well, because I was writing about porn kind of in the early aughts, and I was always talking about pets, right? So these were two things that I kind of always talked to people about because I had my dogs and my friends had their pets, and there was a pet store around the corner from where I lived, and it would just seem sort of natural that people would speak about these things. And then Brink at that time I knew Danny from Hollywood, from Le Doux Cafe, where a friend of mine worked, and it was a place where everybody was kind of hot at that time, and it was a big hangout place, owned by Michelle and me. And Danny had Brink, and they were actually doing web-based. They were trying to do web-based material. A lot of places at that time were trying to do it, but the technology wasn't like it is today, right? Like YouTube. So I was talking to my husband Trevor about that, and I think he pitched it to Danny, and Danny's like, "Let's do it. Let's make the movie." So we had a little bit of money, and I was trying to think about how I reached the porn stars. It may have been through AVN, the Adult Video Network, Adult Video News. It may have been just emailing. I think I cold called companies, emailed, and some of them I knew one because I'd worked for them or I was writing about them.
So now I got to ask, do you have any dogs right now?
Yeah, I was wondering if she was going to make an appearance. I have Mona, who's a rescue terrier, Chihuahua, Schnauzer, something. I was just rewatching Pornstar Pets and looking at Terry Weigel. I think had 9 Shelties. And I was thinking, wow, you have to have a lot of money to have so many dogs. I mean, I'd love to have more than one, but I can just afford one right now. So
Yeah, my dog eats more than I do. So yeah.
I know it gets expensive, especially if you're traveling, pet sitters and all that.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, so it was funny with Pornstar Pets. It was funny for me just rewatching it. And every few years, there are some young artists who want to screen it, so it reaches different generations. And I think did a screening of it when I had a video retrospective at a gallery in Los Angeles called Human Resources, and we screened it. And I think the people who were watching it were like in their 30s and their 40s, and they're saying, "Oh, it's a portrait of the aughts," And then we screened it last summer in a gallery here called Melrose Botanical Garden, which is now closed. And those kids, maybe, I say kids, they're like in their 20s or something, right? And so for them, it was a whole different experience. And when we filmed it, they were just in grade school or younger or something. Or like maybe, wow, it was 23 years ago. Maybe some of them were just infants.
Yeah. It's actually, there's a few people here at Brink who are huge fans of this film. And they just they won't even try to talking to you to make a sequel. It was I had no idea that people still talk about this movie, and they're younger, it hits the younger generation differently. It seems they really tend to like this movie a lot more than I thought it was going to carry on.
Yeah, it has
So,
it has this kind of legacy, which is really strange. I mean, when I watch it, because I know about porn, I think, and I've been on the set and I've directed porn. It's like I watch it and I think these people love their pets so much, but I think about them, having sex on screen, because I've seen them having sex on screen, some of them. But for younger people, they didn't have that relationship to porn because they just grew up with the internet, right?
Yeah.
So also showing this movie to people maybe a little bit younger than me. I was thinking of one guy in particular who watched porn in the 90s, who was a big fan of Terry Weigel and knew who she was. So people, I'm 60, so I'm 61. So people my age sort of know some of these movies, and people in their 50s. But for the younger generation, they just are fascinated by it. And when I showed at the gallery, we showed a DVD, and one of the artists said, "Oh, what's on the extras?" And I said, "Oh, I don't know. I forget." But I forgot that we could have just played them, the extras, because it's a DVD. It's not streaming,
Yeah.
And okay, so going also into what you've done in the past, and then one of the movies you want to bring up is "But I'm a Cheerleader."
Aggressive, drive, go, Fremont!
Megan, we love you. Lately, we've become concerned about certain behaviors.
You don't have any pictures of guys, just these.
You don't even like to kiss me.
It's true.
Honey, we think you're a...
Lesbian.
I'm Sinead. I like pain. I'm homosexual. I'm Graham, and I like girls a lot.
I shouldn't even be here.
You don't have any unnatural thoughts.
I don't think it's unnatural.
Mm-hmm. I'm not perverted. I'm a cheerleader.
You were part of the art department on that. You want to talk about exactly what that was and what you did on the film?
It's funny because I just rewatched that, and that was also, I just saw that it was released in '99, so it was filmed in the, it started filming December of '98. It filmed in that period during the holidays when there was not much else going on, so they were able to bring in a whole bunch of people to work for a couple of weeks. I can't remember how long the shoot was. I had just moved back to LA. I had been at Cal Arts, but not living in LA proper. I was out at Cal Arts, so I could do as much work as possible. So I got an apartment in LA, a little bungalow. I had no job. And my friends, I have a friend who's a wardrobe person, and she was trying to help me get into a movie. And so I went into that movie as an intern. And after a couple days, I was like, yeah, I got to go unless you pay me. So they're like, okay, we'll pay you. So what I learned was a movie will take on a bunch of interns in the beginning, and then they decide who they're going to pay. That's what someone told me. So, I mean, I think I was 33 or 34 years old. So I was a proper worker. The other interns were like in their 20s and overly enthusiastic, but not with a lot of experience. So that's how I ended up on that movie. And I worked not through the whole thing. And it was nice that they gave me a prop assistant credit. So I just went in as art department helper, and I was watching it. I'm like, oh yeah, I made those signs, or I did this, and remembering the locations. But like any indie shoot, it was a little bit insane.
Yeah.
So it was, and I didn't want to work anymore on it. So the prop person was leaving, and somebody else was coming in who they had hired, and then they asked me if I wanted to be like third AD or something. Like, it was kind of chaotic, but that's what indie movies are. They're fun and chaotic. So it was nice to see how it was cut together. I mean, I haven't watched it since the premiere of the movie. I think it was at the Gay and Lesbian Center in Hollywood. So I haven't seen the movie in over 20 years, and it's really, really fun. That's such a fun movie. And it's a campy movie, and then Mink Stoll is in it from the John Waters films, and Bud Cort from Harold and Maude, and then is it Kathy Moriarty? I don't know. Yes, she's in. I mean, it's a really fun movie, and then Natasha Lyonne has become such a big star, so it's fun to see her when she's young. And I think I don't know if she did Slums of Beverly Hills before that.
Before.
Yeah.
Maybe, yeah. So that's what I kind of remember her from.
I have to say, that's one of my favorite films. I watch it every few months. I think it's from the scenes that are shot, how everything's shot, the props, the music is phenomenal. I mean, I that's one of my favorite soundtracks. That is one of my favorite films. I absolutely loved everything about it. 10 out of 10, no notes. And I think it's one of the very few films where every part of it comes together so well and plays such a pivotal role, but never overshadows anything else. Like, the music is great, the acting is great, how everything is shot. It's beautifully done.
Yes, it is a beautiful film. Oh, and RuPaul's in it too.
Yeah, it's RuPaul's.
Yeah.
The lighting in that. One thing I liked
is
about it.
phenomenal. Yeah. It's
So
costuming, everything.
so watching it recently, and there's this red light in the alley, and they get in the alley, whatever, after they get out of the club, and I was like, wow, I don't see movies doing that anymore. I don't see movies. It's like, we're just gonna throw a red light here, and you guys are just gonna act on the red light. And I mean, the colors in that is just very, it just pops. Everything pops in that movie.
I remember that alley. This North Hollywood, I think.
There's one scene where Natasha Lyonne is wearing like a pink dress with like a little white bow. And I distinctly remember this because that was one of the very first vintage dresses I ever found for $5 at a Goodwill outside of DC. And I used to wear that all the time. And I wanted to be her so bad. But
oh, fun.
I don't have that dress anymore, which makes me so sad.
Oh, that's such a good story.
I love that movie so much.
That's the thing too. I mean, it had a really good wardrobe. Like, everybody in there.
Wardrobe was
was
phenomenal.
I was just surprised. Like, what everybody was wearing in there was actually.
Well, they put together. People were so excited to work on that movie. People were so excited to work on that movie. They put together a team of people who really, love the movie. I mean, I wasn't familiar with Jamie Babbitt until that movie, but Andrea Sperling, produced the Greg Araki films, and so it was really a cool team.
Yeah. Wow.
Like I said, the soundtrack for that is just killer.
Yeah.
I listen to it all the time.
I need to listen to that.
I'm gonna listen to it again.
Well, I have a deep abiding love for like any 60s yee.
Yeah. There's the dog.
I love it.
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt, but the dog was barking.
No, they're always dog tax. We need the dog tax. I want to see the dog personally. But yeah, I always love the 60s EU movement. So that was I love the soundtrack for that.
So did everybody get a chance to watch Tokyo Drifter?
Oh yeah, I watched it. I actually rented it on Amazon last weekend.
Okay.
So it was kind of cool to see that you could get it. And then I rewatched parts of it with the link you sent.
Yeah.
So I mean, I was really excited to watch that movie. I'd never seen it before.
Yeah, and that kind of segues from what we were talking about, but I'm a cheerleader into Tokyo Drifter because the lighting that they use in Tokyo Drifter, the colors.
Yeah, it's
That's
beautiful in the art
it's
direction and how the lights shift. Is it that scene that's sort of white with the piano, but then it's red and the light? It's just really, and his powder blue suit, and then he's wearing a different suit in the end, and it's such a cool film, and it reminds me of those sort of 1960s gangster movies that were here with like Lee Marvin and what's the one, The Killers and Ronald Reagan. Just like it was really, really fun. I don't know why I haven't seen it on the big screen here. I mean, maybe Quentin Tarantino does play it in one of his theaters. I'll have to
He
watch.
probably does. I mean, I
Because-
would assume it's a Quentin Tarantino favorite.
Yeah. And he has it's pretty cool that he's bought up theaters and he's showing old movies, and you can just go to a movie. I mean, I watch a lot of my stuff streaming, but I went to see the Vista Theater, which used to be in my old neighborhood of Silver Lake. And now I live in the further east, on East LA. But I went over there to see a film, was Anatomy of a Murder, and it was like 2.5 hours long. And like, wow, you sit here and watch a movie, and you don't check your phone, and you don't text, and you don't go to the kitchen and make food. It's such, you know what I mean? It's such a great experience of being in the theater, and watching that Tokyo Drifter is like, wow, this would be so cool to see this in a theater.
Yeah, and that's one thing about theaters is that when you're watching it in a theater, it has your full attention.
Yes.
There's nothing to distract you. Like when you're watching at home, like, well, I can pause it and make something really quick. You can walk away from it when you're at home, but in the theater, it's like I'm just doing this. This is all I'm doing.
Way more impactful that way.
Yeah.
I feel like that's something that I'm so guilty of is I just stream everything now. And for me, I end up, checking my phone, like you said, making something to eat. Maybe I'll stop and take a nap. And then at the end, I'm like, did I actually ever watch this film? I need to go back and rewatch it because I missed so much. So.
Yeah, and I think a lot of people today, I mean, I do this, and I'm sure other people do, is you watch half of it, and then you go to sleep, and then the next day you watch the other half. But it's not the same as getting the whole experience.
Yeah.
In the theater.
Exactly. See, I had a theater for a while, and so I just utilized it all the time to like, I'm going to watch this movie in here, and I would just do it. But then I'm like, movie theaters should not be going away. I mean, there are art theaters. A lot of them closed down, unfortunately. But I mean, that's one thing as we should really support these theaters because, this is the best way to watch a movie.
I definitely do want to see Tokyo Drifter on the big screen because even just watching it at home, like you're saying, the lighting was so good. But any of the club scenes where it was that beautiful green.
Oh, right.
Oh my God. Oh, it was just
And the singing.
beautiful.
And the singing is so cool.
Mm-hmm.
It was great. I will say that when I was watching it, I wasn't able to get my subtitles to work, so I was missing quite a bit. And my experience with Japanese is limited to "oh no" and "watch out," because I watch a lot of Godzilla and Gamera. But I got those. I picked that up. But yes, maybe I'll try to figure out how to get the subtitles to work next time.
Yeah. I mean, one thing about that movie definitely is that you're right. The lighting, you could watch the same scene. There's this one scene. I don't know if it's the girl that somebody's on the floor and it's red in the background.
Yeah.
And then they go back to that same shot and then half the background is white and then red.
Yeah.
And you're like, well, that means something. But what exactly does that mean? That person's slowly dying, the blood's running out. And so there's certain things in there. Like you got to sometimes we watch it to kind of pick up on certain colors and what they mean and what overall. Seizun Suzuki is a director, and he has done so many other movies since, like Battle Royale. He did so many movies.
Yeah, it's a beautiful film.
And then let's go into you picked Pink Flamingos as the one we wanted to talk about.
Hello, moviegoers. This is Mr. J speaking to you for Dreamland Studios. This beautiful mobile home you see before you is the current hideout of the notorious Beauty Divine, the filthiest person alive.
Why did you pick Pink Flamingos?
Well, I felt like it reminded me of being a kid and talking about theaters. I was thinking about that was like the first sort of big underground movie I knew. We used to go to see, I'm laughing about this because I was thinking about like when I lived in the suburbs with my parents and I didn't know what I wanted to do with my life. And, I was 18 or something and I didn't go to college right away and because I was rebelling or some crap. But, we'd hop on the train and go to New York and go to these theaters that were like art. They weren't, what do you call those? Like not second run, not art house. They just played a lot of like underground movies. And we would go and all kinds of people of my friends would go to watch these John Waters films, like the black and white ones. And they were in it, and people, it didn't matter if people were gay or straight. Everyone was just like, John Waters is so crazy. This is so good, And then so I laugh about it because Pink Flamingos, and I rewatched that too. And the thing, I rewatched that last week, and it's free on the Internet Archive, which is pretty amazing.
I had no idea. Wow.
And because, I love free, so I'm like, okay. And I just saw it in so many different ways. And my friends have talked about it because it sort of his movies really influenced my life because, I was like a white kid from the suburbs, right? So watching these movies, it was like, I want to be those weird people. Those are weird people. And where I live is boring, but what's going on behind closed doors is probably something evil. And so I think that's how, just as a young person, I really related to John Waters. And it's funny that it's kind of amazing that he's, super mainstream now, really, in a lot of ways. I think because of, what is it, Hairspray on Broadway. And I just laugh how, and I went to see his show, the exhibition of his films at the Academy Museum. So my friend was in town. He's like, let's go. I'm like, I don't really go there. It's $25 or whatever. I don't know. I have the student ID card. We went in, I bought the tickets, and it was, regular looking people were watching all this stuff and looking at the costumes and the clips and laughing. And I just read an article in Artillery magazine. It's an LA art magazine. And I read a piece that was written by my friend Tulsa Kinney. And she went to go to hear John Waters speak. He does like a sort of stand-up thing. I tried to go one time here, but it was sold out. And then I kind of forgot about it. But she was talking about how there were some younger people in the audience who didn't even know all of his early movies the way we did.
Yeah.
And someone sitting next to her was like, oh, I love him. He's such a great comedian. But then I haven't seen him live, but I would like to because I've read his books, It's just all around, I'm a big fan.
Yeah.
But
I've
watching
seen
it,
live. He's very, very entertaining live. Very entertaining.
I've seen him live as well.
oh yeah, I have to go.
I've actually had dinner with him a few times.
Oh, because you're from Baltimore.
I'm actually from Queens.
Oh, okay.
But I lived in Baltimore before I moved to Tucson, and every now and then when he was back in the area, he would be over this one little area in Hamden, getting dinner, and on a Tuesday night I'd go sit there next to him at the pasta bar, him in his gray suit, and he's just a delightful human being. He's just really down to earth, really just sweet, and funny. I mean, his early stuff is so wild. I think I saw it at maybe not the right age. So when I saw it, I don't think I was prepared for any of, Female Trouble and Pink Flamingos when I first saw it.
Yeah.
But it stayed with me, 20-something years later. And I'm like, nope, I definitely do recall this movie. And now, as I get older, I think I understand the characters a little bit more because I also had that very similar, boring upbringing. And these characters always seemed like larger than life. And there's always something going on, like you said, behind closed doors. And you're like, what's happening? Why are they like this?
I mean, rewatching it now is very different. One, because like when you looking at Pink Flamingos, it was rated X, okay? And I'm like, oh yeah, I remember, wasn't there the flasher guy with the salami on his dick? But it's, full male frontal nudity. Yeah. And the thing that I didn't know, and I was talking to a friend about this last week, okay, so the scene with the chickens and Cookie Mueller,
Yep.
He actually cuts the head off of a chicken.
Yeah.
So every time I watched that before, and I didn't realize that until I was reading Cookie Mueller's essay in her book that was just reissued by Semiotext, right? And okay, so I'm like, I'm going to watch this scene. And I said to my friend who's seen the movie, he's told me he's seen it like 20 times. I was like, do you know that they cut the head off of a chicken? He said, oh, I just thought that was blood for effect. And I was like, so did I. I thought like the chickens were pecking at her. And then I was like, oh, here I am, as a vegetarian, animal lover. The movie's, it's got like some I mean, I remember the sort of the violence of eating the cops. I mean, that's pretty funny. But you know what I mean. But it's like cartoonish, kind of like the effects in the Tokyo Drifter. They're really cartoonish, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, the chicken thing, I was like, all right, okay, there's dog shit, all right, I get that. But the chickens, oh, it's okay.
I know.
We were discussing that beforehand.
Yeah.
I was like, is it pecking? Did it die?
Yeah, I always thought the chicken died and that was a chicken's blood, or it was pecking at somebody and that's their blood. But it looked like real blood because you could tell from, even in the 70s, you could tell from, film blood, stage blood, and real blood. And when I look at it, I watch it like, that is real blood. Like, it's just, unless the guy who did the blood is like the best guy in the world.
Because I was watching it on my laptop, I just saw, I forget the character's name and the actor's name. He very quickly takes a knife and cuts the head off.
Yeah.
That's what it like slits the throat. So anyway.
Wow.
So, me, the person who's afraid of horror films and blood, and, there's the movie I've seen my whole life. And then I love it. And then, we were really big fans of Edie, the egg lady, always, I'm sorry I never went to Baltimore to, like, go to her thrift shop to meet her. I mean, there was these opportunities, but it's not something I sort of did when I was a kid. But it would have been a fun trip. I've never been to Baltimore, so.
Oh, it's great. I highly recommend it. It is Charm City for a reason.
Yeah, John Waters filmed all of his movies there. He will not film a movie anywhere else but Baltimore, right? Is that pretty much,
I think so.
Yeah, and so I feel he needs to make at least one more. He hasn't made a movie since, 2005, 2004, like that. And I'm like, it's been now almost 20 years. He needs to make another movie. Like, I don't know. He's writing books, obviously. He's doing whatever. But I really feel like he needs to get back into it. I also think one of the reasons, and, don't quote me, one of the reasons is I think he used a lot of the same people behind the scenes for every single film.
Oh, yeah.
And so after a while, though, those people get older, they retire, they move on, they do whatever. And I don't think he would have to hire a whole new crew. Like, he had to hire all new people now, and he doesn't have his old the people he worked with for so long. They're not around.
Yeah, it wouldn't be the same. It's interesting you said that, because I remember when I was living in New York at the Hotel 17 with all these club kids. We had a party for John Waters. He had an art show at American Fine Arts Company, and someone connected to the hotel worked there. And so, because I lived at the hotel, I had access to what was the VIP room or something, which was like, a hotel room. And then there was the party on the roof, the illegal party on the roof. And the people, his friends from Baltimore who worked on the movie, were like there supporting him. And I was like, oh, look, they're all normal people. They're like regular people, not insane, crazy, Yeah, they're just like regular people who do their stuff. And it seemed to me like, when you work with people for so long, it's kind of like a family, right? So it must be hard to just, as you say, just have a whole new team.
Yeah.
So it's funny because I was talking about the blood and horror, and, John Gulager, who's the son of Klug Gulager. Yeah. So he does horror movies. I don't know if you've seen his films.
I have.
Yeah, because they invited me to, he did Seven Cemeteries with Danny Trejo. They invited me. I'm so afraid to see horror movies, and I was too embarrassed to write. I'm afraid of horror movies. But you do the horror fest there, right? So have you shown his work?
I have not, no. I've seen it, but I didn't know he was doing anything recent. I looked him up a little while ago.
Yeah.
And,
they just did it.
Okay.
It sounds like it's like Seven Samurai, but with zombies.
Wow.
Come back from the dead to fight. Yeah. It's So I just want to say maybe you want to have John on your show because he's pretty amazing. I mean, I was just looking at like, okay, so he won this was whatever year was Project Greenlight, right? So he won that, and so he directed Feast, and I went and I saw that movie multiple times because we were all friends. And I was just like, I would have to cover my eyes. And then there was another one he did. I had to leave. It was too upsetting.
Yeah. Yeah, he won that. That was what? Was that a Ben Affleck, Matt Damon show, the Project Greenlight?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, I watched that show where he won it, and I saw the whole season. So,
yeah,
I'm very aware of him. So, yeah. So.
He did, I think Children of the Corn 5 or 10 or something. That kind of reminds me of porno, like when you have your new wave hookers 10, 9, 8, Friends and I in LA would be like, oh yeah, I art directed New Wave Hookers 10, and they're like, oh yeah, I art directed New Wave Hookers 7. What was your porn name? Like that.
Yeah.
It's kind of funny.
So, what are you doing nowadays? Do you have any projects coming up? Anything that you're working on? Anything that you want to talk about?
Well, it's funny because I haven't made a sort of feature length film. I mean, my pornos were like, feature length, but there would maybe be 5 or 10 minutes of dialogue or something, and the rest would just be sex. But I still make short films that I send to like porn film festivals, and they're mostly like jerk off movies, which is kind of funny. And so I just sent one off to Cine Kink in New York and Porn Film Festival Berlin. Porn Film Festival Berlin has played a lot of my stuff, including Pornstar Pets. So, I'm mostly making sculpture now, and I was thought like maybe I should make a movie. Maybe I should make like a feature length narrative film, shooting it on my phone or whatever. So I was thinking about it.
Yeah.
So I don't know what to do.
People do that all the time nowadays. It's how a lot of people are making movies, is on their phone, because you have several lenses you can do. You have all on your phone. You can do it. And there was one. Was it Tangerine? It played at Sundance, and that was that was the director of Honora who won an Oscar. Yeah. So he's already up and coming at that point, even with Tangerine. But yeah, I mean,
I like that film. No, is Clue? I think Clue Gallagher's in that film, Tangerine.
Maybe I don't.
I think he's in the back of a car or something. See, you've got Gallagher's on the brain now. I get a message done.
That guy's in every movie. He's in Return of the Living Dead. He's like in so many, which I saw a couple weeks ago. For like the 100th time. But yeah, he's in so many things. Like you watch a movie and he's in there. Like the old Westerns he was in.
Yeah, that's right. A lot of Last Picture Show.
Spanning decades. It's astounding about how many movies he's done. But I think he passed away a few years ago, I think.
He did, and they had a really beautiful memorial service for Clue and his wife Miriam, who died maybe 10 years before him. I can't remember exactly. But so they waited and did something together and showed their movies. It was really beautiful.
Wow. Yeah.
That's really sweet.
I should do like a Clue Gallagher film festival, So
yeah.
Should.
That would be interesting to do. I think, people do the, as Festivus film festivals, and they do like, certain things that, be kind of interesting in that. I don't know if anybody would really show up, but it's an idea, like totally.
I think they would, because he's in a lot of big movies.
He is.
And John would come.
Yeah, I definitely got to get him on the show. It'd be kind of great to get him on the show.
Yeah, I'll message him.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
Yeah, I just rewatching Pornstar Pets today, and then I was looking at the shots, and I mean, he's just so talented, John. He's really, really talented.
Yeah, well, I was happy when they picked him for Project Greenlight. And he made that movie because you get to see him get behind a camera and actually make something, and then and after that he's continually making movies, which is great.
Yeah, amazing. I mean, watching Pornstar Pets again, I think, wow, like I looked up Terry Weigel and her husband who's in the movie, they seem so nice together. He died. He died a few years ago. And then Bill Margold, who's the guy who has all the teddy bears, he died. And I'm just sort of looking at it, thinking how times have changed. And then Dennis Hoff, who, owned the Bunny Ranch, who wanted us to go and film there. He was friends with Ron Jeremy. He died, and I think he won the election in the district after he died. And he was like a crazy Republican. I mean, the thing thing about going to shoot in Nevada, which is funny, and in the Reno area where the Bunny Ranch is outside of Reno, is it like you've got churches and whorehouses. It's kind of a very, very strange place. There's Christians and sex for sale.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Sunset Thomas was his girlfriend at the time, and those were their horses. He was very big in the area. And also, I say big, he was also a very large man, and I thought very, very scary. So, yeah, a lot of sort of power, but he told the women at the Bunny Ranch, bring your pets in, they're going to film you. So they did.
Wow.
And then, Ron Jeremy in the movie, he just seemed so sort of strange and friendly and nice, I think. But then what ended up happening, I guess there were all these allegations, and what he did to women was really horrible.
Doing time. Yeah, he's spending the rest of his life in jail. It's like,
I mean, I just didn't know that about him,
Yeah.
no, it's, yeah, there's one thing. I was putting out the trailer online. I was redoing the trailer the other day, and I was like, maybe I should cut the Ron Jeremy scene out of this trailer of Pornstar Pets, even though, I mean, he's in it, but he's gotten arrested for certain things or whatever. I don't know. It's like kind of weird about that. I was like, okay. Like, are a lot of people like kind of worried about playing anything Ron Jeremy nowadays? It's like, is it just, because of what he did? But
Right.
but it also goes along with like the Bill Cosby and a lot of other things. Like they're integrated within our media, and we can't really get rid of them because they're part of a movie. They're in there. It's like, I like certain movies, but this person's in there who is a sleazebag asshole, and it's like it's tough to just yeah, you don't know, and then voila, something happens.
I mean,
I don't know.
he had, because I would go, I went to like the AVN Expo, whatever it was called, in Vegas a number of times, a couple times to write about it, maybe once to write about it. And then when I was making pornos, we would all go together, little group I was with at Vivid Alt. And he had so many fans. I mean, guys really liked him.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess because he sort of looked like every man and he could get the girls. And then, so what he did, it was so horrific to find out. So, yeah, I mean, I feel like the one thing I do like about Pornstar Pets is everyone comes off as just so friendly and nice, and I guess maybe the world isn't always like that, is it? So, but in a little movie, people are loving their pets.
Yeah.
So you could try and see, something positive. The thing is, there's also, it's so funny in the extras. I did watch them. There's a scene where it's Ron Jeremy's porch where the pigeons have like pooped all over and laid an egg. It's pretty funny.
Oh wow. I need to watch the extras now. I need to
I know. I watched the extras because I was like, wait, didn't Jeremy Steele sing a song? He did in the extras about pets. It was this heartfelt, folk song or something. So I wonder what happened to a lot of, the people, or and then goes to his, Latia Lopez's boyfriend was a rapper. And I thought, I should Google him and see. I think he was Coolio's nephew or something. I wonder, what happened.
Yeah.
Did he ever have success as a rapper? Do I know him under another name? Have I heard his music?
Yeah. Is he doing something completely different? A lot of people end up doing
exactly.
things that, I'm starting out as this, but then they end up doing something else that
Right.
in the end, they might be very successful at, but you don't know. Like, they ended up being an editor, and they
Uh-huh.
So yeah, there's certain things where people kind of fall into. So yeah.
I forgot the sound design. So the sound design is by L. Ron Kenobi, and I laughed because that was my friend who became Ian MacKay, the porn director, who's now, working under his regular name, editing crime documentaries.
Oh.
And he won an Emmy. So for editing, which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
So
you never know where life takes you on certain paths or certain ways,
For sure.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, there is actually, it was Bernard Rose. What was that? He directed. He directed that famous horror movie. I forget what it's called. Anyway, but he was friends with Trevor, my husband at the time, and he would say, we would hang out sometimes, and he would say there were a lot of people working in Hollywood who had worked in porn, but they just don't talk about it. It's like how they could make a living when they were starting out, or how they could make money. So, behind the scenes, camera people, et cetera, or whatever, working on sets.
Yeah.
I found that some of my friends, people in the art world who were writing for, AVN magazine under a pseudonym.
Yeah. Is that still around? AVN magazine?
I feel like I get some emails sometime, or I know someone from those days, someone I'm friends with on Facebook who mentioned that's where they work or something. I went to a Pets benefit a few years ago with a friend, and gosh, maybe that was it was before COVID. So, and it was in Chatsworth, and it was on the ranch of someone I knew because as a camera person, who was one of the only female camera people I knew. And there were all these porn people there, and I felt very uncomfortable because it was kind of like walking back into a part of my past I don't really care about. But then it was I was kind of feeling like stressed or something. And then I saw this one photographer I remember when he was starting out, and so it was like 10 or 15 years later, or I guess it was 10 years later. But some of the same people, of course, were still around because that's what they did. It's just not what I do anymore.
Yeah.
But yeah, a sequel would be fun. I mean, I still know the people that some of the performers I work with, I still see them, in the outside world at art things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. I mean, I think if you ever did a sequel, it'd probably do very well,
Yeah,
That's funny.
Yeah.
Are there still porn stars? I guess that's sort of the question. I'm gonna have to go and look. Talking about Terry Weigel again, because I guess today I'm obsessed with her. But I was like, what happened? And that's when I read that her husband died, because I saw her an old Instagram account, and she was on a farm with a whole bunch of children. And I was like, what the hell is, that's not the San Fernando Valley. So, people's lives changed.
Oh, yeah.
Of course, it's been 20-something years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know if there's porn stars nowadays. I know there's obviously people in the limelight doing certain influential things porn-wise,
like OnlyFans.
OnlyFans, things like that. But I don't think there's that anymore. I don't think that it exists to a certain extent anymore.
I was talking to my friend about it yesterday at Cruel World. Someone we know who's editing porn. I didn't even know Hustler was still making porn. I guess they are. I mean, Vivid stopped. I mean, there's so much content.
Yes.
And also, I don't know how. When I think about, so when I was making porn, which was funny, thinking about Pornstar Pets again. Like, okay, what was I going to do after Pornstar Pets? Was I going to make a documentary, or was I going to make pornos? So I ended up making pornos. So, but they were only. You were just starting to be able to watch porn online, where it worked out okay. There was no Pornhub, and people watched porn. There were different cuts. You do your shoot, and then you have a photographer on the set who took a whole bunch of pictures. So those were sold to magazines, or in the magazines, Hustler, whoever it was. Or if it was VCA was shooting it, then they sold. Well, Hustler actually bought VCA. So all of that was one revenue stream, right? Then you have your hardcore scenes, hardcore version. Then you'd have a softcore version for like Playboy Channel. Then you'd have a hotel version. And then someone would continue cutting, because if they were going to show it in other countries, there's things you couldn't have, anal or squirting or,
Yeah.
So then there would be all these multiple cuts. So they take this one product and they just sell it over and over and over. So and then there's different magazines and then different compilations. So it's kind of like amazing. But now I don't know how any of that works. I'm not really interested. But I guess I'm thinking about it just because we're talking about it,
Yeah.
So one thing they should bring back is those, obviously it was coined the term Skinamax, where those late nights, they're not porn. They're actually using real actors, and not real, but you know what I mean. As far as it's not flat out porn. They do a story, but then they have tons of nudity and other things. But it's all like kind of like it's like a Lifetime movie, but more darker and a little bit more like a lot more nudity. And then they suggest like they go there, but they don't not string it. And I think that there's like that was somewhat popular to a lot of people back.
Was that like Red Shoe Diaries?
Yeah, like Red Shoe Diaries type stuff. And it was like, but then they also did like God, what's her name? I can't remember. Like she's married to the guy in Kiss. I can't remember her name, but she was in tons of these like late nights on
Sharon. No, I forget. Shannon Tweed. Is that right?
Tweed. Yeah, she was in tons
Gene
of those.
Simmons.
Yeah. So yeah, it's kind of those movies that, are just kind of like were made years and years ago, and no one's doing anything like that nowadays, as far as I know.
That's funny. When you're talking about that, it made me think about going, as a teenager or in my early 20s, going to those like second run houses and seeing like the 60s version of X-rated movies like The Stewardesses in 3D, and they're just like naked women kind of dancing or something, or fake orgies, and then that. So you're going down that tunnel into, remember, Something Weird video where you could buy these weird, like I was thinking about that too when we were thinking about this doing this interview. I thought, whatever happened to Something Weird in those sort of sexploitation films?
Yeah,
they're really kind of fun.
The guy died. The owner of that died, and so another company, I think it's Afra or whatever, picked a lot of those up and are releasing that under the Something label sort of thing. They're adding it on like it's something weird video, and then this company is the one that's releasing them now. But I think the guy who owned it died, and when he died, it just no one's running it. No one decided to take it over. No one, so it just kind of it's still owned by somebody. I don't know, maybe it went to somebody else, but yeah. So, but no, they're not releasing anything anymore. So
that must have been VHS tapes, right?
Yes, I do have a couple of VHS tapes of Something Weird video stuff. But they were releasing some DVDs too before. So yeah.
And then I find them online too.
Yeah.
I find a good bit of them streaming.
Well, that's fun. Well, here in Echo Park, there's a VHS store. And it's like I think a gallery. I haven't been there. People have invited me, but I haven't gone yet. But it's like a VHS place. And then we have new DVD shop, like people are opening DVD stores.
Wow, really?
And rentals. There's DVD rental here. And I'm like, maybe today I'll do that because I'm feeling like, what am I going to do today? That I did like 44,000 steps yesterday or something at Cruel World, like 16 miles I walked. So I'm a little bit like, wow, that's a lot. So I'm like, I'm feeling a little like I'm coming down from a marathon. But maybe I'll bring a copy of the Pornstar Pets DVD over to that DVD store it's on the edge of Highland Park. And it's funny because I was like, whoa, this is crazy.
I think it's so cool because I think a lot of the younger generation, and I see it here in Tucson at, any of the vintage markets or things like that, is a lot of people are selling and doing well selling VHSs and DVDs now because so much of this streaming that even if you buy something on streaming, you don't actually own it. So if you get rid of your account, you lose it. So when I had Amazon Prime, I bought some movies and TV shows on there, and then I lost that when I got rid of my account. Apparently there was a way that I could keep it, but I think a lot of people are realizing that they don't actually own what they're paying for to own it. So having it in hard copy is now, no, I actually do own this. I can go back and watch that. So I know a lot more people are, I sell vintage clothing on the side, and I've had so many people ask me if I have VHS tapes.
Oh, really?
And yeah, a lot. I mean, I sold a bunch of my B movies on DVD from like the 50s, 60s, and they sold immediately because people are like, I can't, I don't want to, if I buy this online, I'm not going to actually keep the rights to watching it. So yeah,
interesting.
A lot of the younger generation is starting to go back to wanting to own physical media now.
Yeah. Plus, what happens is that, I'm dealing with distribution. Yeah. And when a filmmaker's like, oh, I don't want to, our contract's up, whatever, take it down. If somebody actually bought that on Amazon and it's taken down, they lose it. And they bought it to own it. And then the next thing they go on, it's gone,
Wow, that's unfair. I mean, I don't really buy I haven't bought any content on there. So I was not aware. I mean, I still have them looking at. I've got a shelf of DVDs and VHS tapes, and I mean, not a lot. But then I also have, boxes of my old VHS tapes of my work when we used to duplicate them, Like I laugh that you have to go to a place and, bring a master and have them, bring your beta master and have them make VHS tapes.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Like it's a lot different than just clicking and it's done.
All right. Well, we're going to wrap this up. Do you have anything last to say that you want to, if you want to plug anything that coming up you're doing or anything?
I'm not sure what to plug. I think I should make a feature film. That would be really fun.
Very great.
Yeah. So I feel really inspired to do that. And I'll continue to make my little weird shorts. And, if you ever want to see any, I'll email you the passwords,
Yeah, that would be great. That would be great. Okay. Well, we had fun. I had fun.
Thanks. Yeah, this is great. Thank you so much. And maybe I'll come to Tucson one day and I'll say hi when I get there.
Yeah, definitely. Cool.
Nice to meet you, Bo. Let's take care. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Okay. Bye.
All right. Bye.
Now commencing our ascent back to the surface. If you want more content, visit brink.com. If you want less content, you are happy and well adjusted. Congratulations. Your hosts were David Pike and Veronica Chase. All art by Andrea Osoynik. Theme song by Josh Bill Humor. If you are angry, DM death threats at Brink Media on Instagram. If you are horny, also DM us. Thank you for your attention. You are free to go.